What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games, and today we're starting a brand new series called Pokemon Topics. And in today's topic, we're going to be discussing how to fix Ice-type Pokemon. This topic I've been thinking about for a long time now, and I wanted to actually put into a video format and discuss it with my community. And of course, guys, if you have a topic you want me to discuss, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And of course, if you have any critiques to the video, please leave your comments as well. And if you like videos like this, please leave a like and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. So, how do we fix Ice-type Pokemon? Well, let's get a current overview of the situation of Ice types. So the current state of Ice-type Pokemon. 1. Ice-type Pokemon are super effective, ice moves at least, are super effective against Dragon, Flying, Grass, and Ground. It's really incredible coverage-wise, and hitting Dragon super effectively is the biggest deal about this, especially for Fairy type. Ice was pretty much the greatest dragon killing move for a lot of Pokemon, especially because dragon type attacking moves were not spread too well, but pretty much every water Pokemon gets an ice type move, and there's also like Ice Punch and good distribution on ice moves in general. So ice is an incredible attacking type. However, ice is resisted by fire itself with ice, steel, and water, and these do all make sense to me. Steel being one of the best defensive types, water being insane, ice, as we're about to see, a very poor defensive type, and fire makes sense too. However, the issue with ice type is resistance is just ice. It only resists itself, which is pretty awful. It's the only type actually that has one resistance, so it is the weakest defensively, which is very unfortunate. And it is weak to 4 things. It's weak to fighting, which is incredibly common, one of the best attacking moves. Fire, rock, both are also incredible attacking moves. Both are incredible coverage moves for a lot of Pokemon. And now since Steel really got buffed because Fairy type's existence, Steel is now an actually sort of good attacking move because they're beating Fairy. So you're also going to be seeing more Steel moves in general. So overall defensively, Ice is pretty trash, honestly. It's really hard to fix this, but offensively it's crazy good. So good things about Ice types is you can't be frozen. You are immune to sheer cold, which I guess is cool, but be real, no one in actual competitive play is going to be using sheer cold. It's not a real thing. It is the rarest type. Only 5.62% of Pokemon, and all the Pokemon, including all forms, evolutions, megas, whatever, are ice type Pokemon. A little bit more than 5%. That is low, very low, and even fewer are pure ice types. A lot of ice types have an like a combo, like an ice water, like a Lapras as an example. The good thing about at least ice types is they have their own weather. They have hail. However, hail is the weakest of the 4. It is very few Pokemon actually can benefit from it, and really only ice types can, and not a lot of ice types have abilities that actually work with it. 4 Pokemon do have Snow Warning, which is pretty good. Alolan Ninetales and Abomasnow become the 2 best. The rest are all right, but you're not going to really use them. Really, Alolan Ninetales is carrying when it comes to this. And before that, it was Abomasnow. You get 2 abilities with hail usage, which is Snow Cloak and Snow Rush. Snow Cloak gives you 20% evasion, which is really good, actually. Similar to Sand Veil. And Snow Rush doubles your speed while it's hailing. The issue is both of these abilities are very low on who actually gets them, and not every ice type has them either. So you're going to be selecting a very small set of Pokemon or ice types, and an even smaller set have abilities that work well with hail. And the big thing that was sort of recently, I believe in Gen 7, was Freeze Dry, which is actually an ice move special attack that is super effective to water types. The issue of Freeze Dry is very limited in its move pool. Overall, not a lot of Pokemon get Freeze Dry, especially a lot of ice types. You know, not every ice type gets this move. It should be like Scald, in my opinion, that, you know, pretty much have the distribution be everywhere, but unfortunately, we do not have that. With the current state of ice types, it's not looking good. And this is why I wanted to make this video, because honestly, this is looking abysmal, honestly. So the best way to actually improve ice types is to give them a new resistance. They only have one. That's unacceptable. Let's make them resist water. So first things first, water types are insane because there's 16% of all Pokemon are water types, which is the biggest percentage of any type. Water types also are super effective against incredible typings. fire, ground, and rock, but they're also neutral to nearly every single other type besides dragon, grass, and water, which are resisted. But the big thing about water types is they all have ice moves, which is super effective against dragon and grass. So the only thing water types have to worry about is water types themselves, which is sort of the exact opposite situation that ice types are in. So at the very least, we can nerf water a little bit to give ice a good buff in general. So at least ice types can switch in for free on water types. Water is one of the strongest types because literally your coverage is insane. If you switch into a dragon or a grass type, bam, use an ice move. Ice is literally water. If water resists ice, I don't see why ice can't resist water. They're literally the same thing. One is just cold, one is not as cold. They should resist each other. It makes sense, right? And it keeps the glass cannon feeling if we just get this one additional resistance, because ice is still an incredible strong attacking type, great neutral coverage, but it's just unfair with only resisting yourself. And I actually propose if we did do this, Scald being super effective to ice types would make sense because it is hot water going to ice, which will definitely melt ice. But I also suggest that we lower the move distribution because everything gets Scald, and I think that's ridiculous. 30% burn is wild. I do not like it at all. If we had to add a second resistance to ice outside of water, I would recommend flying. And my big thing about flying is when we look at ice attacking moves, there's like Blizzard, Icy Wind, Frost Breath, Sheer Cold. A lot of these moves are like freezing winds with snow in them. And, you know, it sort of makes sense. Like if an ice type is using Blizzard, wouldn't you be able to resist like a wind attack because you are sort of using a ice storm as your attack? So I can imagine an ice type not being too affected by the winds. And whenever you see like a blizzard, it's always windy. So like an ice type, like what is a hailstorm? There's like high winds in that too. So it makes sense in real life. From a balancing perspective, it helps ice. I do think it hurts flying types a little bit more because they're sort of perfectly balanced with 3 super effective types, 3 resist defensively, and 3 weaknesses. But they also have an immunity, so I wouldn't feel that bad if we did this to flying types overall. So I would actually approve both water and flying resistance for ice. I think it would be really good. And the thing we got to really understand again, only 5% of Pokemon are ice types. So this is not going to affect a lot of Pokemon at the end of the day. We got the new Frostbite status. This status needs to come to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It was introduced in Legends of Arceus, and it's essentially a special burn. Each turn, the Pokemon afflicted with the Frostbite loses 1/16 of its max HP, and the special attack stat is cut by 50%. Literally, special attacking burn. One, I think this should just be in the game in general. In general, I don't even care in what way, shape, or form. Special attackers are incredible. Yes, they do a little bit less damage than physical attackers, but physical attackers do more damage, and they take damage from their own recoil moves. But special attackers virtually set up for free, attack for free, and sweep. Special attackers overall are better than physical attackers for the most part. So I think we need a way to balance it, because the fact that burn exists, it's crazy that we don't have a way to deal with special attackers. But in Legends of Arceus, ice types are immune to Frostbite, which I agree. I mean, fire types are immune to burn. Electric types are immune to Paralyze now in Gen 8, so all of that makes sense. Fire covering moves are immune, so let's say a fire type got hit by Frostbite and you cover yourself in flames like Flare Blitz or Flame Wheel, you remove it. I actually don't have an issue with that at all. Maybe there could be a thing for burn that could be similar. Chance increase in snow. So Pokemon Legends Arceus has a snow weather, which is essentially hail. I wouldn't necessarily have this in Scarlet and Violet to increase the chance of Frostbite. I think that would be sort of lame. Essentially, we'll have a Scald problem all over again, but it's an interesting idea that they implemented in Legends Arceus, and give some ice type moves and keep freeze on other moves. So I don't think this status effect should be on every ice type move overall. I think this should be on some, like Ice Beam should be freeze, Blizzard should be freeze, but you know, there's a couple moves exclusive to Legends Arceus that only gave this status effect Frostbite. So maybe just maybe like Icy Wind has a chance of like, it lowers your speed, has a chance of, you know, giving you Frostbite, you know, or Frost Breath, if it always crits, maybe has a chance of giving the Frostbite status as well, or make some new moves. They can figure out the balancing, but the main point is we need ice types to have a status effect, so them as a Pokemon are more desirable to pick, and then you don't make these moves have a crazy move pool that every other type can use. Give it to pretty much every ice type, I'm fine with that, but like not every water type should be doing Frostbite for the most part. Like maybe some, but like definitely like chill out with the status effect, move pool status, because we don't want a second Skull. That is definitely not the goal here. Lastly, we need to buff Hail. Hail is the worst weather of the 4. Rain is definitely the best by far, and there's already only 5% of the Pokemon as ice types, and very few of them actually get moves that help them in the actual Hail. Besides Blizzard spam, you don't have much outside of Slush Rush and Snow Cloak. Currently, there are 4 Snow Warning Hail starters. Alolan Ninetales is by far the best because it has Aurora Veil, and it's also, you know, a fairy type, and the fairy typing is really doing the best work out here. It's definitely the best by far. And I think Aurora Veil should be on more ice type Pokemon in general. It is definitely the saving grace of ice Pokemon is Aurora Veil even existing. They need a defensive buff because they have no resistances outside of ice themselves. So it is very fair. I just think more ice Pokemon should get it, so we have more diversity to use in a Hail team potentially. And ice types need a additional buff like rock types have in Sand, where they have a 50% boost in their defense. Ice types should get something similar, either for their physical or for their special defense. This will be really helpful. They're already weak to like priority in like Mach Punch, Bullet Punch, so I think a physical defense would make a lot of sense, especially because it's hailing. They could essentially, you think of the ice going on their bodies, making them stronger. But I can also see it from a Spadef way where, hey, there's a lot of fire special moves out there. This is a great way to cover for that. But I think ice types were not built the same when it came to their weather system at all. Lastly, ice types do not have a secondary type currently that gets buffs from their actual weather. What that means is, well, ground types, steel types, and rock types do get a buff from the sand, especially a lot of different Pokemon get different abilities that help them in the sand. Like in the rain, electric types never miss thunder, right? Hurricane never miss for flying types. And then of course the rain for the water types. And then in the sun, you have chlorophyll users, so auto grass types with solar beam or just doubling their speed really help under the sun. So you got grass and you got fire. Ice doesn't have a secondary type, right? I suggest fighting. One, fighting is a really great type, and it'll actually help them defeat rock and steel types, which they definitely need help with. Is definitely one of their biggest weaknesses, especially in the sand matchup. The other big thing is it sort of makes sense thematically. A lot of when I think of like a martial artist or something in like a training montage, you always see them like in the snow, or maybe they're meditating underneath like a really cold waterfall. Like, there's something to like ice that brings peace to the mind, and it tests like the strength of your body and what you can endure, which is essentially the essence of fighting types. So I think maybe, it like cold, like it chills your mind so you never miss Focus Blast as an example. That could be a great thing, similar to how thunder won't miss in rain, or hurricane as an example. So I think something like that could be wonderful for ice types. But overall, I think this is how we're going to fix ice types. Hopefully Gamefreak will listen to at least one of these suggestions. I probably doubt it, but we can only imagine ice types getting buffed because I think they deserve it. They're a really cool type. They're the rarest type out there, and there's a lot of cool ice types that deserve to be played in Pokemon VGC. Well guys, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out, and have a great one.